Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, herzlich willkommen zu unserem heutigen Webinar zu Infrastrukturprojekten in Kroatien. Ich bin Sanja Kulenovic und ich werde Sie heute durch das Webinar begleiten. Unsere Wirtschaftsdelegierte Sonja Holler-Ertl sendet herzliche Grüße. Sie ist leider in Selbstisolation. Kroatien ist generell von der Corona-Krise stark betroffen, aber die Infrastrukturprojekte laufen weiter. Eine interessante Information ist auch, dass in den nächsten Jahren Kroatien ca. 24 Milliarden Euro an EU-Geldern zur Verfügung steht. Deswegen sind wir heute und aus diesem Grund haben wir für Sie dieses Webinar organisiert. Heute geben wir Ihnen einen Überblick über Infrastrukturprojekte aus zwei Bereichen, Verkehrsinfrastruktur und Kommunalinfrastruktur. Bevor wir anfangen, kurz zu unserem Programm. Unser Webinar haben wir in zwei Teilen aufgeteilt. Teil 1 findet von 2 bis 3 Uhr statt. Es geht um die Verkehrsinfrastruktur. Wir erwarten bzw. wir werden uns in diesem ersten Teil 3 Präsentationen anschauen. Die erste Präsentation wird von der HG Infrastruktura, das ist die kroatische Eisenbahngesellschaft. Die Präsentation wird durch Herrn Mirko Franovic präsentiert. Danach, eine halbe Stunde später, folgt die zweite Präsentation. Es geht um Straßeninfrastruktur. Herr Stjepan Varanasic von Hrvatske Ceste, Autoceste DOO, das ist die kroatische Autobahngesellschaft, präsentiert uns die neuesten Projekte, die im Bereich geplant sind. Und die dritte Präsentation ist vom Herrn Goran Pusch von Hrvatske Ceste, das ist die kroatische Straßengesellschaft. Danach im zweiten Teil, ab 15 Uhr, erfolgen die Präsentationen zum Thema Kommunalinfrastruktur. Wir haben den Teil wieder in 2 Bereichen aufgeteilt, Abwasserwirtschaft und Abfallwirtschaft. Abwasserwirtschaft wird von Herrn Goran Vilakovic präsentiert und Abfallwirtschaft von Herrn Danko Fundurulja. Wir hoffen, dass Sie mit unserer Präsentation zufrieden sein werden. Jetzt, das Webinar wird dann auch auf unserem Channel Außenwirtschaft Austria mal präsentiert, was Sie irgendwann einmal in den nächsten Tagen wieder kurz einen Einblick in die Präsentation werfen sollten. Wir werden Ihnen natürlich einen Link zur Verfügung stellen. Jetzt noch eine kleine Information, falls Sie technische Schwierigkeiten haben. Wir haben ein Backup. Einfach im Chatfeld ein paar Fragen stellen und wir werden Ihnen gerne helfen. So, wir haben ein dichtes Programm. Und ich möchte jetzt gleich anfangen. Ich werde Herrn Mirko Franovic bitten, von der HG Infrastruktura uns ein paar Worte. Herr Franovic, bitte sehr.
Hello, everybody. For those one who doesn't know me, I'm Mirko Franovic, and I'm Director of Infrastructure. Planned infrastructure and EU funds in HG Infrastructure in Croatia. I must say that I'm pleased to see all these interests in our projects, and we are always we are looking forward to cooperate with the Austrian companies. We can start with the presentation now. These are some data on our network in Croatia, of how many kilometers, tunnels, official places, and everything else. You can get this presentation after this webinar, so we can prolong with the projects. Most of our projects are financed from EU funds, and others are also from commercial loans and state budget. So our main objective is to modernize rail infrastructure in line with the technical specification for interoperability and to increase the maximum speed to 160 kilometers per hour. Increase, of course, safety level on all of our network and remove all bottlenecks in order to achieve greater functionality of the railway system. One of the most important goals for us is, of course, better connection of ports and the rail. So we will start with our most important corridor line, and that's the part of Mediterranean corridor from Hungarian border to port of Reactor. On this line, we have the projects in lots of different stages. For example, if you see the dark blue one, that's two projects that we are now in the phase of implementation of works. Light blue is now in procurement, and the orange is now in study documentation. We will go through all of them. So the first project is reconstruction of the existing track and construction of the second track on the section Križevci-Koprivnica state border. This is the most recent contracted contract, and its value is 350 million euros, and we are at the beginning of the construction works on the field. It includes the work on the reconstruction of the existing line and of construction second track on the entire railway section in the length of 42.6 kilometers. And of course, all viaducts, bridges, and everything on the line is also included. This is done by Turkish company Cengiz. The second project, if we are looking from Hungarian border, is project Dugo Selo-Križevci, and it is approximately 60% finished, and we expect to finish this project in 2022. There were many problems on this project, unfortunately, regarding consortium. So we are now at least 2 years behind from schedule, unfortunately. This is also EU co-financed project, and it's around 200 million euros. This is done by a domestic consortium. Now we are going to today's most interesting project. This is project from Hrvatski Leskovac to Karlovac, and this project is now in tender procedure for the works. In the newest information is that we got another appeal in the process of public procurement. So we expect to get the bids for this project at the beginning of next year. And this is approximately 366 million euros worth of project. It includes also reconstruction of the existing and construction of the second track along the existing one in the length of 44.02 kilometers. Also, all the stops and everything else, overpasses and underpasses, will be constructed through this project. So the safety will be higher than it was today. After this project, we have a project of completely new track from Karlovac to Oštarije, and we are in the phase of study documentation preparation. We have just signed the contract with the consultant, and we are starting to make the study documentation, environmental impact assessment, and all other documentation. Estimated value of this project is 400 million euros, and we planned to start with the procurement for this project at 2024. So in 3 to 4 years, we expect to be finished with the documentation and to launch the public procurement for the works. On this section continues the most difficult section on all of this part of the Mediterranean corridor, and this is the section from Oštarije to Škrljevo. Also on this section, we are in the phase of preparation of study documentation. And this is part that still needs to define what route to use. We have two options, and that's to reconstruct the existing one and to build completely a new line. This is so-called lowland line, which probably most of you know about. This, I hope, will be defined and decision will be made very soon. Then we will continue with preliminary design, location permit, and main design and construction permit. The estimated value, as you see on this slide, is 900 to 1.3 billion euros. And of course, it depends on the variant that will be picked through this study documentation. Planned implementation period or beginning of the public procurement for works, we expect to be at 2025. If completely new lowland line is picked, there we expect to have at least 45 kilometers of tunnels, and this will be most challenging project definitely on this part in Europe. Also in city of Rijeka, going on from the project that we just saw, we have the project of reconstruction and building of the second track on the section from Škrljevo to Rijeka and to Jordani. On this project, we are in the final phase of the main design and construction permits. So we expect to finish with all of this by the end of 2021 or next year, and be ready to launch the procurement for works in 2022. This project consists of reconstruction of the existing line and building the second track alongside of the existing one in the length of 27.5 kilometers, and the estimated value is 270 million euros. Also, the project is very complicated because the most of its length passes through the city of Rijeka. So there will be much problem in construction phase, definitely. So in Rijeka, we have two projects ongoing, the one of which is upgrade of the Rijeka port infrastructure, and that's Zagreb Pier container terminal. This is in approximately at half of its works, and the second project is Port Brajdica, which has just got the usage permit from the ministry. So we are finished with it, and we expect to finish all the documentation for EU co-finance. After reconstruction of these two ports, we expect to have at least 1.2 million TEUs from Rijeka port. So this is just a slide that you can see regarding Adriatic Gate Container Terminal or Brajdica port. This is the pictures from the construction site. So now we are going to our second corridor line, and that's the line from Slovenian border over the Zagreb to Belgrade. On this part, we have realized two projects, and that's Novska Okučani and Vinkovci Tovarnik on the end of the line towards Serbian border. And we have now two projects ongoing in the phase of preparation of documentation, which will pass now through. So if we start from Zagreb, we have first project that is of the biggest importance for us at this moment, and that's project Dugo Selo-Novska. It's a reconstruction of the existing track and building the second track along it in the length of 72 kilometers, and the construction of totally new two-track electrified railway on the section Kutina-Lipovljani. So in this project, we are currently at the final stage of the main design, and we are submitting requests for construction permits. So we expect to be finished also by the end of summer of 2021 with the construction permitting, and then prepare documentation for tender. This is up till now the most expensive project in HŽ infrastructure, and its estimated value is around 570 million euros. So we look forward for all the Austrian companies to apply on this public procurement. The second project that is now in final phase of study documentation, we got the environmental impact assessment solution, and we are now procuring for the project documentation or for preliminary design, location permit, and main design and construction permit for this section. And this is renewal of the existing double track line in a length of 131 kilometers. Estimated value is around 500 million euros, and we expect to launch the procurement at the end of 2024. This is practically lowland line, and it's practically reconstruction or higher maintenance of the existing line with the modernization of all official places and all bridges and construction works. So On other lines, we have currently finished, or we have finished 1 year ago, section from Gradec to Sveti Ivan Žabno. It's a local line, and currently we are on the works with the section from Zaprešić to Zabok. It's 24 kilometers of reconstruction of the existing one-track line. In the north of Croatia, we have this red line. If you see on this map, this is the so-called Lepoglav connection, which is now in study documentation preparation phase. So these are some facts over the project of modernization and electrification of the line from Zaprešić to Zabok. Its contracted value is 81 million, and on this project the construction works are done by Svjetelski. One of the projects that are also ongoing at the moment is the reconstruction and electrification of the line from Vinkovci to Vukovar, and this is done by a Spanish company Comsa. Estimated value or contracted value of the project is 57.5 million euros, and it consists of reconstruction and electrification of the existing line in the length of 18.7 kilometers. We will upgrade this on speed on this line on 120 kilometers per hour. This is mainly done because of the port of Vukovar. So this is so-called Lepoglava Junction project, and we are now in the phase of preparation of study documentation or analysis of the variants that will be included in next phase of the projects. So these are the EU funds that we are financing most of these projects, and that are operational program competitiveness and cohesion and Connection Europe facility. New projects that we applied and that we expect to publish the procurement for is improvement of the railway infrastructure by establishing of monitoring system for safety, security and technical control. The project value of grant that we got is 17.1 million euros, and it will be financed from CEF. So we expect to launch the public procurement for this at the beginning of 2021. We are in the final phase of public procurement documentation preparation. Also, the second project that we got finance is project of protection and modernization of level crossings. We applied for upgrade for 95 level crossings all over the Croatia. So also for this project, we expect to public procure at the beginning of next year or 2021. And these are some projects that are financed from EBRD, IBRD, and other sources. this is one of the biggest is reconstruction of the section Savski Marof Zagreb, on which is also Svjetelski working. And there, I must say, there are no problems or not many problems on implementation of this design. And at this moment, from this Sunday, the speed was raised on one section 6 kilometers long, and we expect to after winter to continue towards Zagreb. Also, modernization of 49 level crossings and 1 pedestrian crossing is on the way, and the getting of the new track recording car for all the network, renewal of the section Virovitica-Pitomača in the length of 21.1 kilometer, and this is also done by company Svjetelski, and renewal of the section Greda Sunja and Ogulin Moravica, which are done by our domestic company Pružne građevine. So thank you all for attention, and as I understood, there will be some question. So I pass over to.
We have now a few minutes. Oh, a lot of questions. Okay.
Lots of interest.
Okay, lot of interest, yes. Yes, this webinar should be in English. Yes, of course. Okay, question to Mr. Franovic. Now.
Our planned noise barriers along the railway lines for all projects, best regard. Yes, of course. Through all of our projects that are financed, especially that are financed from EU funds, all through all network, there are noise barriers where, of course, they are needed. So, for sure, there are. Okay, let's see another one. Is it possible to receive information with which company have received the electrification of the lines? Mainly, we know only the main construction companies. Of course, it's not a problem. We can give Ms. Sanja contact, and you can contact us directly towards me or my colleagues.
Okay.
That's it.
We haven't time enough. Thank you very much for your presentation, for your time. I wish you all the best for your project. First of all,
we need it.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. And I think we should stop.
Happy New Year to everybody, and see you soon.
See you. Thank you, Mr. Franovic. Okay, mi radim und ja, gut. Wir machen weiter. Jetzt mit unseren Präsentationen. Die nächste Präsentation wird vom Herrn Stjepan Baranašić. Jetzt geht es natürlich um Straßeninfrastruktur. Ich werde jetzt bitten, Herr Stjepan Baranašić, sich einzuschalten. Moment bitte.
Ja.
Hallo, Stjepan Baranašić, dobar dan. Čujete me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Možda sve ste uključili, evo ja se isključujem I dajem vam riječ. Izvolite.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sanja. Thank you very much. My name is Stjepan Baranašić, and I'm member of the board of Croatian Motorways Ltd. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Austria Advantage office in Zagreb, to give us opportunity to be a part of the webinar today. Okay, we can start. Here are some general things about about Croatian Motorways. The owner of our company is the Republic of Croatia. Management board is Mr. Boris Huzjan, which is the president of the board, and my name is Stepan Baranasic. Okay, wait. So here is the map of the motorway network here in Croatia. We have built already 90% of the network, so we don't have such a big catalog of the projects as the colleagues from the railways they have, but we have something that we will show you today. So we build and now operate with around 918.5 long motorways network, over 1,150 different engineering structure, and over the 35 kilometers of tunnels. So we have 35 tunnels in total length of the 35,811 meters. So 90 bridges in the total length of 12.5 kilometers, sorry, or 100 viaducts, 27 kilometers, 205 road crossing in a total length of 14 kilometers, 14.5 kilometers, and some figures. They are not completed for the 2020, but we have something before the COVID. 2018 revenue 1.9 billion of kunas, and that's the increase of 6.45% to 27. But I can tell you that in 2019, before the COVID, it was the revenue was 2.2 billion of kunas. That's also increase of around 5%. Something about the reform of the road sector. We implement a new system. We are in front of the implementation of the new system of toll collection, and we implement a new maintenance and the management of the road assets. In current investment cycle, company plans to complete a few important projects. So this is the corridor 5C. Part is the A5 Beli Manastir Osijek Svilaj motorway, A7 section of 56.5 kilometers. Design documents are ongoing, and we plan to renovate the LED technology and improving energy efficiency on our highways, especially on the tunnels, and of course improvement of passive safety systems. Of course, we do the best according to the quality assurance policy. We are acting responsible towards the general public, of course, because we are public company. Our services are adjusted to meet the needs of the motorway users. We follow the environmental protection regulations, and health and safety of motorways motorway users is our priority. Something about strength, future, and goals. Human resources are our strengths. Our knowledge and experience is our future, of course. And our goal is to become a leading company for preparation and implementation of infrastructure project and managing the implementation. So I want to tell you something new, and I think it's exclusive because we signed today the fusion agreement between our company Croatian Motorways and the company Rijeka Zagreb highway. So we are now, from today, we are biggest state company in Croatia according to manage the motorways. So let's go. One of the one of the biggest project in the future is in A1, Zagreb, Split, Dubrovnik. Okay, I will explain the map. For the purpose of traffic connection of the city of Dubrovnik to the network of motorways in the Republic of Croatia, we have the government decision from 2 years now, and we need to ensure the preparation of study documentation in order to realize the connection of the road connection project with South Dalmatia to the system of motorway networks of the Republic of Croatia. So this is the part from Metković Junction and future Pelješac Bridge, and you can see this part is the blue, dark blue part. So the connection to the future Pelješac Bridge on the land to Dubrovnik. The Metković-Osenik junction is part of the Adriatic Ionian motorway to the Republic of Croatia, and it is mostly in traffic now, but we need to finish those two parts. On A1, this south part, and the north part, Žuto-Lokva-Senj. So the rest of the Adriatic Ionian motorway is in the territory of the Republic of Croatia. So when will be fully built, it will connect the regions along the eastern Adriatic coast and the Ionian Sea from Trieste to Italy to port of Igoumentis in Greece for a total length of approximately 1,080 kilometers, and we will able to comprehensive economic development of the area. So something about the Metković-Osenik junction sector. This is the sector with a total length of around 78 kilometers, 51 kilometers without the Pelješac junction. Taking into account the possibilities of preparation of the realization and the functionality of transport units, the sector is divided into the following sections. So we have two sections: Metković section, Metković junction, Pelješac junction, and with the length of 18 kilometers, and Pelješac junction to Rudine, that's around 20 kilometers. This section is not considered because the construction of the section needs to be determined by an interstate agreement for the passage of the highway through the territory of BiH. So the connection is realized by the connection of the Pelješac Bridge and the state road to Stone. This is the part Rudine junction, Doli, Dubrovnik, BiH border, and the length of that part is 33 kilometers. Route, so general route data, section Metković junction, Pelješac junction is around 18 kilometers, and a total of 2 hubs are planned. Opposite node via D9 and D8 enables connection of opposite, and then we have Pelješac junction. The separation of the connection road to the Pelješac Bridge is planned, which will connect Dubrovnik to the territory of the Republic of Croatia. Among the largest facilities are the 2,960 meter long Reactor Bridge and the 3,005 meter long Ježevac tunnel. As the part of this section, it is necessary to build connection road from the Pelješac junction to the Duboka junction, and it is 5.5 kilometers long. And estimated value of this investment is approximation of the cost is 3.95 billion of kunas. So we have also part of Doli, interregional junction that connects the highway Stone Doli and the section of the highway Rudine Osanik, and the Slano motorway connection to the county road 6232. The route is located in extremely difficult terrain with a large numbers of tunnels and viaducts. The most important objects are the Red Beam Tunnel, 2,370 meter long, and the Dujani Viaduct, which is 725 meter long. As a part of this section, it is necessary to build connection road from the Stone Junction to the Doli Junction in the length of 6.6 kilometers. The estimated value of this part is 5.15 billion kunas. So the total value of the south part from Node Metkovic to Node Osanik is 9.1 billion kunas. This is the south part. Now we can go to the north part, which is called A7, and which is the part of the Rupa Rijeka Žuta Lokva. So the Križišće Žuta Lokva sector, have the car. Okay, this is the map. The Križišće Žuta Lokva sector is the part of the Adriatic traffic route also, which is planned as the eastern road E65, partly E61, which connect the coastal areas of southwestern Europe and provides quality connection to urban, tourist, and industrial centers of the region. In addition to international and national, the A7 motorway is of exceptional regional and local importance, and it is it is enable the further development of the Crikvenica Vinilo Riviera, first of all, and then Senj, city of Senj, and the Velebit coast as well, and of course island of Kirk, Cres, Lošinj, Rab, and Pag. The construction of the motorway sector is in question, has been included to the EU accession negotiation in the transport chapter. So something about that part. The Križišće Žuta Lokva sector, with a total length of 56.5 kilometers, is located in the coastal area of the eastern part of the Primorje, Gorski Kotar county, and the western part of the Lika-Senj county. It connects already built parts of the road network, namely the Rijeka bypass at the Križišće junction and the A1 Zagreb Split motorway at the Žuta Lokva junction. So the technical parts, the technical elements of the route are provided for the design speed for the 120 kilometers per hour. A 4-lane profile is planned, 2 carriageways and 1 stop lane for each direction, separated by the dividing lane. The project documentation defines 3 sections. First section is Križišće Novi Vinodolski in the length of 25 kilometers. Second part is Novi Vinodolski Senj in a total of 16 kilometers, and the third part is Senj Žuta Lokva in a total of 15 kilometers. The motorway corridor is accepted to the all spatial planning documentation at the state, county, and the local levels, and environmental impact study has been prepared and accepted. Also location permits were obtained for all sections, as well as a construction permit for the Vratnik Tunnel, but further preparation of project documentation was suspended and the validity period of the obtained permits expired. So, Croatian Motorways has contracted the preparation of project documentation and the implementation of the administrative procedure of the Novi Vinodolski bypass, the A7 motorway section Selce Novi Vinodolski, As in the first phase of the motorway, in accordance with the agreement, a building permit will be obtained for the construction of the state road Novi Vinodolski bypass, and for the full profile of the motorway, only a location permit will be obtained. In order to achieve traffic communication on the developed part of the A7 from Križišće to Žuto Lokva, procurement was initiated for the reconstruction and preparation of project documentation for the construction of the entire sector. Due to the length of the sector, procurement is planned according to the section Križišće Novi Vinodolski Senj and Senj Žuta Lokva. The launch of these services is finally envisaged by the Public Roads Construction Program 2017-2020. So something about Novi Vinodolski bypass. The length of the section from the Stelce junction to the Novi Vinodolski junction is approximately 7 kilometers long. The route of the planned A7 motorway and the connection road to the state road D8 is around 3 kilometers. Project status, contract for the preparation of project documentation has been concluded. The location permit was obtained. The main project and tender documentation were prepared. The procurement and construction works resolving properly legal relations and obtaining construction permits are in progress. Construction is scheduled to begin in the second quarter of the 2021. The estimated procurement of construction work is 495 million of kunas. And the second section is Križišće Selce. A contract was concluded for the preparation of project documentation and obtaining building permits on October 2020 with a deadline of project documentation of 2 years. Further implementation of the construction of the complete sector will be carried out in accordance with the next programming period for the construction of public roads in the Republic of Croatia. So there's a lot of technical data here. I will send you everything what is possible from the technical point of view to everybody. We are open for the questions, and of course it will be much easier to the email communication to communicate and explain everything what is now say in that limited time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Franovic.
Thank
you very much Mr. Varanasic, for your presentation. Now, unfortunately, we haven't more time, but I will send you all questions. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I wish you all the best and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Herr Varanasic.
Thank you very much also to you.
Thank you. Welcome. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So, und wir machen weiter mit unserem Programm. Die nächste Präsentation ist dran. Heute ist mit mir Herr Goran Pusch von kroatischen Straßen. Er wird hier in unserem Büro seine Präsentation halten. Ja, danke. Господин Pusch, izvolite. Dobar dan. Dobrodošli.
Hello, can I take off the mask?
Yes,
Okay.
you can take the mask.
Hello to everybody. My name is Goran Pusch and I'm coming from a Croatian roads company which is state-owned and manages the road network of the state roads in Croatia. I believe that we are compatible to the Aspina in Austria. So our main, first about finances and our plans for this year first. And I believe optimistically that the plans for the next year will be something similar financially as the plans for this year. This is the optimism because it is to be expected that we'll have a global economic crisis. So our financing comes mostly from the fuel price fee or the fuel levy, from the tax from the fuel, and it's about 250 million euro per year. Plus we count on EU funds. Part that we receive from EU funds is dedicated for certain projects. So it's not as we receive this 60 million every year. So these are incomes, about 320 million for this year, and optimistically we expect for the next year about 310 million. So we expect the minimum decrease of our incomes, but we'll see about that. So you are probably more interested in investments. Roughly, we can say that our investments in the road network of the state's roads are about 200 million euro per year, and we intend to keep that pace, even increase a little bit this amount with the help of EU funds in the next year. This goes for the construction of state roads and reconstruction. Everything which is called construction needs the permits and will take the projects in general. Plus, we use some 60 million euro for regular maintenance. We procure all these jobs, so all 260 roughly million euro is subject to the public procurement. And we are one of the largest contracting authorities in Croatia. Depends on the year, we are first, second, or third. Right? Let's say city of Zagreb used to be first in public procurement, in the size of public extent of public procurements in the last year, but we are here somewhere. We are one of the greatest. So which are the, let's say, 4 projects we have chosen for this presentation, which are the most important and the largest right now. First of all, this is a Pelješac project, major project for a road that will connect Dubrovnik with the mainland without crossing the state borders. Then we have Split project, Split bypass project, a road that will help reduce traffic congestions around second largest town in Croatia. Then we have Sava River near Gradiška, which is actually the connection of one of the Bosnian capitals, the capital of Republika Srpska, Banja Luka, to the Motorway Network. And then we have Rijeka port connection. Maybe you know, because you are from the business world, that we have built here in Croatia one new large part of the port of Rijeka, capable of receiving large container ships. And for them, we need, for these containers, we need strong connections by the railway. Probably Mr. Franovic told you something about that, and by the road, which is our new road, which is contracted a few months ago. So the first project, maybe you know, maybe you don't, that Dubrovnik area is separated from the rest of Croatian mainland by a small strip of land of the coast that belongs to Bosnia and Herzegovina. So when you go from Dubrovnik to Zagreb, you have to cross the state border twice or use the ferry boat. In order to avoid this problem, this obstacle, we are building 32.5 kilometers of new road with one very special bridge, with Pelješac bridge, which will be one of the more impressive bridges in Europe, let's say, which will be part of new sites to see in Croatia, 2.4 kilometers long. The value of this project is, as you see, 420 million euros. And this is about this sum because We didn't contract all of this. We need a few more, smaller contracts for furnishing or equipment of this road, and this is financed, co-financed from the funds of European Union, to be more precise, from the Fund for Regional Development. Road that connects Croatian Motorway Network with Port of Rijeka. I already described why we are building it, and it is very, very expensive road. 64 million is a contract for 3 kilometers of road. It's very expensive because it passes through the tunnel or through the densely populated area of the town of Rijeka. Just for illustration, we have to demolish 60 houses in order to build this road. So it has started. We have a contractor, and we expect the tunnel to be bored very soon. Then we have a split bypass, 21.5 kilometers in length for the remains of the split bypass, because half of it, let's say, the northern part has been completed, and now we are to build the southern part. It's the area which is very rough terrain or mountainous terrain. So a lot of objects, a lot of tunnels and viaducts, and it is going to be contracted in parts. The red parts are predictable in public procurement or close to the public procurement, and the green parts are to be discussed a little bit later. So right now we have construction in progress on Omiš side. You see the canyon on the top left picture, and on the canyon on the left side you'll see the exit to the tunnel that goes to nowhere up on the slope, and that is where Croatian and Austrian company Strabag will build a new bridge from the tunnel to the tunnel in the canyon. Very, very impressive building. This is contracted for 24 million euro, goes on through the tunnels. This is on the Omiš side, and from the split side, we are in the public procurement right now for 4 kilometers of road, and with estimated value of 42 million euro. Whenever we are close to the town, we have such a relatively huge sums for contracts, but it goes like that. Then next road is also a road that is part of some wider idea. So right now we are connecting a border of Bosnia and Herzegovina with the A3 motorway. From border to Okučani we have 8.5 kilometers. Total estimated value of this will be more than 65 million euro, and it's divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 is in construction, but phase 2, which is a little bit less than 40 million, is right now in public procurement. I found out that only today, so I didn't put it in my presentation, but we have a public procurement for phase 2, which will contain the part of the border crossing. That's why it is expensive. It's 4 kilometers, but it's expensive because it contains a huge area for border crossing, for the customs, sorry, border crossing. And you can see on our picture that the bridge that is already contracted is advancing very nicely. So you get the picture, how do we procure our projects. We have our goals, and we are advancing as fast as our budget restraints allow us. So we have this project which will connect Zagreb with regional centers on northwest of Croatia, and this is called Podravina Y. And right now we are contracting, procuring parts of the road on both branches of this Podravina Y. You can see we are advancing toward Hungarian border on both directions. So we are advancing not only in length but in width. So we are not contracting the full width of the fast road, or not. It's not motorway. It's not highway. It's not motorway. How is it called? Expressway. So we are building expressways, not motorways, and we are building only half of the expressway in a way to procure only one pavement, only 2 lanes of the road. But we are making the room for another carriageway to be built once the traffic reaches certain value. So we are advancing on these expressways and on several more planned expressways, but the length of this presentation don't allow us to speak about all our projects. So that's why we are just giving the principles. And I said that here we have something like 60 new construction projects in various stages of implementation. So we are planning more roads than we can build with the current budget restraints. But we have several projects, and depends on the available money, which ones we are going to start. So we are trying to make way for the balanced development of all the parts of our country. One of these future projects, which is also being implemented relatively slowly in small steps, is this one. This is far east. This is the further east of Croatia, from Ilok to the motorway. So these connection roads connecting our regional centers to the motorway network are essential for the development of these parts. And you can see that the Ilok is practically surrounded by the territory of another country of Serbia, and we need to construct expressway to connect it with the motorway. And we are starting by with the help of European funds with 4 kilometers of bypass of 2 villages on the start of this project. This is also in procurement right now. So this is a basic principle. We have several designs that are waiting to be procured, like the ones that I mentioned. And I must say that we are building or procuring or designing or planning or studying dozens of bypasses. This is a big area for us, because in many small towns or villages, our state road passes right through the middle of the town or a village, and we need to build the bypass because it's very uncomfortable for the life in these areas to have the heavy traffic inside these towns and villages. I think that we have 27 that I've counted on this map, projects like this, and this one is characteristic. We have in this particular place that is shown on the photo, I think we have about 4 kilometers for 8 million euro. These are standard jobs for us. Aside from that, we are also procuring many reconstructions. We have about 600 active projects, but we don't expect to complete all of them in next 4-year period. But what we are doing as much in the extents which are allowed by the budget restraints. Reconstruction doesn't only mean to make new pavement on the existing road. No, we are trying to straighten some curves to make the traffic more safe, and we are also constructing a new path for bicycles and pedestrians through all the towns where we reconstruct the road. That's our obligations. And we are reconstructing the crossroads. Right now, we are building a lot of roundabouts. It became a kind of a fashion. Every town or every village need 1 or 2 roundabouts instead of ordinary crossroads. So this is the extent of our investment projects right now and in next few years. As I said on the beginning, we were expecting a reduction of investments in capital infrastructure. That was first and very normal reaction by our government or our ministry, which is in charge for us. But as the time passes by, it becomes obvious that only the new investments can become a generator for the economy, for new economic growth in the days of crisis. So we are, as for now, quite optimistic, and optimistic means that we intend to keep the level of our investment in the near future. That would be all for me. Thank you very much, and bye. I hope that I give some answers to your
Thank you very much, Mr. Pusch. Thank you for being with us today. I wish you all the best. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for all of your viewers. I didn't see them. I don't know how many of them, but there is a lot of them.
Okay. I think, okay, we have no time, but I will send you all questions later. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, and bye.
Bye. So, und wir kommen jetzt zum zweiten Teil unseres Seminars. Es geht um Wasser- und Abwasserinfrastruktur. Ich begrüße Herrn Goran Milaković von Hrvatske vode. Dobar dan, gospodine Milaković, čujemo se?
Čujemo se.
Dobar dan. Evo, uključili ste ton, imamo sliku, prepuštam riječ vama, ja ću se isključiti, samo da vam, tako, kliknula sam, vi sad možete sa strelicama dalje nastaviti.
U redu, hvala lijepa.
Hvala.
Hello to everybody. I'm Goran Milaković from Hrvatske vode, and my position is Deputy Head of EU sector. The sector which is representing intermediate body level 2, and the function of that body are approving of the projects, controlling of the procurement in line with the national procurement law and in line with the EU directives, and the third function is the spending, controlling of the spending of the EU money. Today I'm going to present you how Croatia became the most water projects intensive country in EU, and the answer is on that question is thanks to the EU funds. In fact, to the structural instruments in the programming period 2014-2020, where Croatia got allocated 10.6 billion euros, and on the water infrastructure we have been allocated 1 billion euros from the cohesion fund for the water and the wastewater projects, and 215 million euros from the European Regional Development Fund for the flood projects. This presentation of mine will be divided in two parts. The first part will be water projects, and the second part we will go through the flood projects. So why do we do the water supply and wastewater projects? To to have a full compliance with the Water Framework Directive, to the Directive on the Quality of Water intended for human consumption, the Directive concerning urban waste water treatment, and in regard to revised implementation plan for water utility directives. Currently, through the operational program Competitiveness and Cohesion, as you can see on this slide, we have 60 approved projects and 5 of projects which are in the pre-approval procedure, which gives total of 65 projects. Approved projects are in the value of 20 billion kunas of total eligible expenditure, or 14 billion kunas of the EU grant, and the 5 projects which are in the pre-approval procedure are 1.69 billion kunas of total eligible expenditure, or 1.17 billion kunas of the EU grant. The usual components on the water and wastewater projects are construction and reconstruction of the sewage system, construction and the reconstruction of the water supply system, and the construction or upgrading of the wastewater treatment plants. If we talk about the amounts of the investment, let's say that around 90% of the investments are on the sewage system, reconstruction and the construction of the new one, and let's say 10% of the investment goes to the construction and reconstruction of the water supply system. Out of 65 projects, only 2 projects are clearly only the water projects, and the rest of them, 63 projects, are mix of the sewage system and the water supply system. As you can see, the distribution of the projects, so they are distributed all over the country. So you can see that in Osijek and Baranja County, 7 of them are currently in the implementation phase, which are worth 1.58 billion kunas. As well, in Zagreb as well, we have 7 projects which are in the implementation phase. In the Split Dalmatia County, we have 6 projects, but the value of investment is the highest. It is almost 4 billion kunas, exactly 3.68. In Primorje Gorski Kotar, we have 4 projects, Sisak Moslavina 3 projects, Varaždin, Koprivnica, Križevci, Virovitica, Podravina County, Požegina, Slavonia County, Šibenik County, and Vukovar, Srem, Istria, Dubrovnik, Neretva. We have 3 projects in the implementation phase, and in the rest of them, rest of the counties, from 2 to 1 project in implementation. As you can see, in the Istria County, 1 project is in approval phase. It is Pula Sjever. In Zadar County, Biograd na Moru is in the approval phase, and in Lika, Senj, Plitvička jezera, and in Brod Posavina County, Slavonski Brod, which is in approval phase. The total investment, as I said on the beginning, 21.7 billion euros of total eligible expenditure. Here you can see on this graph the public procurement progress for the whole 60 projects which are approved till now through the operational program Competitiveness and Cohesion, and you can see the rate of the contracting during the years. So you can see that currently now we are almost on 93% of the secondary contracting in comparison with the allocation. And in the following 3 years, we have plans to go to almost 182% in comparison with the allocation. Right now, I'm going to talk about problems which we are facing in the public procurement, the most intensive problems. And so the biggest problem in the realization of the EU project is the procurement procedure. The law on the public procurement tried to meet the employers and shorten the procedure itself, but it should be noted that the implementation identified a number of problems that slowed down this procedure. For example, the preliminary consultation procedure did not produce the desired result. That means that instead of the tenderers seeking clarification of tender conditions or technical specification for the purpose of market research and simpler implementation of the procurement procedure and obtaining better offers, professional complainants on behalf of the potential tenderers seek only certain parts of the documentation to which they will file appeals, or frequent filing of appeals about the documentation outside of the deadline for the appeals of the procurement, which prolongs the bidding time. In some procurement procedure, new appeals to the tender dossier occur even after the State Commission decision has been adopted and the amendments to the tender dossier have been partially amended and the new deadline for the submission of the bid has been determined, which further extends the bidding time. So what is the biggest problem with that type of complaints? The problem is, or appeals, that the problem is that the appeal on the tender dossier is around 700 euros, which is really low amount. Frequent extension of deadline for submission of the offer by the employer, that is a new trend. Why? Because of the potential financial corrections. Another problem is frequent filing of appeals against the award decision, which prolongs the duration of the procurement process. And when we summarize that, the public procurement duration from the publication to the execution of the award decision, for instance, for the works type of contracts, the average duration is from 9 to 10 months, and for the service procurements, the average duration is from 6 to 7 months. Here I have provided some characteristic examples, so you can see on, let's say, for project Donja Dubrava, that we had that final beneficiary had 10 tender dossier appeals. 9 of them were dismissed as unfounded or untimely. The initial tender notice was on June 2018. The tender opening was in the April 2019. So from the tender notice till tender opening, 10.5 months passed. Another example with the same final beneficiary on project Mursko Središće. You can see that 6 tender appeals were here. All of them were dismissed as unfounded and untimely. And from the tender notice till tender opening, 5 months passed. Project Rijeka. The initial tender notice was in the December of 2018. 3 tender dossier appeals. All of them were dismissed as unfounded or untimely. Predicted date of tender opening is unknown. Why? Currently, we are in the December of 2020. We still do not have open the bids. Or precisely, this is the second public procurement. In the first public procurement, the prices were extremely high, so the final beneficiary terminated the public procurement and started the new one. Why I'm saying this? Because just to have the time duration of public procurement on these projects, and in fact we have 2 years when the public procurement is published, and we still do not have normal offers on that procurement. Another examples of the public procurement problems. So we have here 2 examples where the appeals were on the award decision. One example is on project Jastebarsko, where we had 2 appeals on the award decision, and from the conclusion is that 14 months was duration of the procurement. And another example is on project Varaždin, the duration of the procurement for the wastewater treatment plant, where the total duration of the procurement was 14 months from the publishing of the procurement procedure. As I already mentioned, another problem in public procurement which we are facing at the time is the increasing of the project costs. Current statistics says that on the sewage system, 28.5% the bids are above the estimated tender budget. If we separate that on the Dunav River Basin and the Adriatic River Basin, you can see that 21% the bids are higher on the Dunav River Basin, higher than the estimated tender budget. and on the Adriatic River Basin, almost double, 46% above the estimated tender budget. Wastewater treatment plants, in average, they are within the estimated tender budget, but on the separate procurements, we have also facing that problems. So as I said, on wastewater treatment plants, this is an average that the procurements, that the bids are within the estimated tender budget. Problems in contracting and implementation, delayed award decision making due to increased bids, delaying award decision making because of fear of financial corrections, slow dynamics of work execution than planned, which are a problem on all projects, bankruptcy of the contractors. Here I gave two specific example, project Vukovar and Osijek, and financial corrections as a result of ex post controls of the procurement process. Planned contracting in the following period. So here I'm presenting the following 3 years, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So we have made some calculations and estimations, and the plan is to have contracted almost 5.5 billion kunas in the following year. In the 2022, 4.4 billion kunas, and in 2023, 500 million kunas of the contracting, which means that we still have a lot of public procurements which need to be implemented. Consequently, planned payment in the following period, also for the following 3 years, as you can see it in 2021, 2 billion kunas, 2022, 3.7 billion kunas, and in 2023, 5.2 billion kunas. Except the investments from the operational program competitiveness and cohesion, we are counting on the recovery and the resilience fund, which will be in the function from the 2021 till the 2026. Here you can see that for the agglomerations, we are planning that the investment will be in the amount of 7.3 billion kunas. For the small interventions on the wastewater projects, 1.5 billion kunas, and the small interventions in water supply projects, 2.2 billion kunas. So all in all, in total, 11.1 billion kunas of the following investment through the recovery and the resilience fund for the water and wastewater projects. Now we are going to the second part of the presentation, flood projects, where we have 5 approved projects. So the first one was the preparation of studies for flood risk management projects in the value of 38 million kunas of total eligible expenditure. The purpose was preparation of basin level studies for 12 river basins with significant flood risk for the Sava River in Croatia, and preparation of studies for the Lepar projects, which you will hear a little bit later. The second project which is approved is modernization of left bank Sava dikes from Račinovci to Nova Gradiška in the total value of 369 million kunas of total eligible expenditure. The project on a 236 kilometer section foresees emergency no-regret measures to increase the safety of flood dikes and hinterland with the construction of hinterland berms with drains and service roads in total length of 155 kilometers. Also consists of the development of 8 separate projects in total length of 17.5 kilometers with the construction of a watertight curtain to protect against hydraulic collapse of foundation soil at critical section, and the formation of 17 excavation sites to provide all the materials required for the said works. This project is in implementation, and the finishing of the implementation should be by the end of 2023. All procurements within the projects are finished. The third approved project is improvement of the non-structural flood risk management measures in Croatia, or popularly called Lepar project, in the total value of 353 million kunas. The project is implemented in cooperation with DHMZ. It consists of the improvement of non-structural flood risk management measures in Croatia to achieve flood risk reductions and provide and systemize the missing data related to basins, watercourses, water regulation, and protection structures. Modernize and upgrade the network of hydrological gauging system, develop or improve forecasting mathematical models, prepare or improve flood risk management studies, procure the equipment required for the more efficient operational flood defense, and educate and inform the public about flood risk. The fourth approved project is the Ogulin Flood Protection Project in total value of 183 million kunas. The project foreseen works at the location where the retention reservoir is dammed, construction of railway protection facilities along the retention reservoir area, construction of a facility protecting fish pond on the Vitunčica River, and the construction of the Ogulin retention reservoir dam with the associated facility. And the last one, the biggest project, Karlovac-Sisak flood project, protection project, which is still not approved, but hopefully by the end of the January 2021 will go to the approval in the European Commission. The value of the project is around 1.2 billion kunas, sorry. The first phase, which will be implemented through the operational program competitiveness and cohesion, is in the value of 680 million kunas of total eligible expenditure. And the project will provide the required flood protection to the town of Karlovac and other settlement along the Kupa River from Karlovac to Sisak, which are frequently and heavily flooded. It will also improve the capacity and operation of the natural Kupčina retention reservoir with the construction of facilities at the Brodarci Dam upstream of Karlovac and the extended the natural flood storage area of Odransko Polje. The project foresees the reconstruction of dikes and construction of other facilities of the flood protection system to improve the functionality of the system as a whole. So these are the current investments through the operational program competitiveness and cohesion, and through the recovery and the resilience fund, which will be in the function from the 2021 to the 2026. We are planning that we will be able to invest further 1.85 billion kunas for the flood protection projects, 1.34 billion kunas, and for the project Neretva salting protection, half of billion kunas. As you can see, I didn't mention anything about the new operational program from the period 2021-2027 because we still do not know what is the investment, what is the value of investment in the following programming period, but for sure we know that it will be decrease in the investment in the water and wastewater projects. Because through this programming period 14-20, Croatia got 2.55 billion euros from the cohesion fund, and for now we know that through the following period, which will be from 21 to 27, we will get only 1.5 billion kuna, which means decreasing of the 1 billion for the following period. That will be all from me, and now I'm handing over to Sonja.
Thank you, Mr. Goran Milakovic. Thank you very much for your presentation and for being with us today, for being with us at our webinar today. Unfortunately, we haven't more time for question. I will send you all question. I think it will be the best. I wish you all the best and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, of course. Thank you.
As well, to you as well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you. Okay. Und wir machen weiter. Die nächste Präsentation ist die vom Herrn Danko Fundurulla. Herr Danko Fundurulla kommt vom kroatischen Abfallverband. Herr Fundurulla ist heute in unserem Büro, deswegen werde ich meine Maske wieder aufsetzen. Ohne Maske geht heute gar nichts mehr. Herr Fundurulla, bitte sehr.
Hello, glad to meet you and I would try to show you a presentation about the present state of waste management in Croatia, because that's one of the most important topics last 15 to 20 years in Croatia. Because 25 years ago we didn't have nothing, and at 1995 we made the first law about waste. So I'm Danko Fundurulja. You have here my mobile number and my mail. So Croatia is a small country with strange shape and about 4.2 million citizens, which are going down, thinking so. Next year, we would see the right numbers of inhabitants in Croatia, but I think it would be about 4 million. So current data is that now we produce about 1,800,000 tons of municipal solid waste. And 4 years ago, when we made our last waste management plant, we hoped that this number would be in this time about 1,600,000. So it's obvious that waste is rising. From that, 1.1 million is household waste. It's approximately 70% of total waste. Then we collect 670,000 tons of waste is separately collected. It's 37 tons, and comparing that in 10 years ago, it's a very good result, because 10 years ago we dumped on the landfills about 90% of waste, and 10% was just separately collected. From this separately collected waste, 30% is recycled. So that for investment, that's very important, because in Croatia we have only 2 mechanical biological treatment centers. One is in Marišćina near Rijeka, and the other is in Istria in Pula, Kaštijun. So all others are or very small or don't exist. So in the negotiation with European Union, that's the goal which we have to fulfill. Then you can see that we produce about 1.2 kilograms per person a day, and in 1995 it was only 0.6 kilogram per person per day. And almost all of waste is collected by communal firms, which are more than 90% public. So that means a private investor in the field of collection don't exist. So you know that the main problem is bio-waste, and we produce 1.1 million ton of that 1.8, and 680,000 is disposed on the landfills. So now we have about 120 landfills, and we hope that bio-waste by separate collecting and designing and building composting plants would be in next 5 years priority. So you can see here in 95 we started negotiation with European Union, and in 2004 we finished chapter 27, which means that in the waste management we finish everything on the best way. So 3 main goals were that we must close and remediate all the irregular landfills, which were 312 on the beginning. Then a remediation of the black points and construction of waste management center. Now it's clear that we would have 11 centers in Croatia. The main legislation which you can see the law about sustainable waste management from last changing were in 19 last year, but now we have finished the new law, and I hope on the beginning of next year it would come on force. Then we have a lot of ordinance which deal with waste management, about 27, and a strategy which is now on the end. Strategy is from 2005, and the last waste management plan was made in 17, and in 22 it would be finished. So we enter in European Union, and of course we need to implement all the European directives in our legislation. So last European directive on waste is not still implemented in our last law. So these are two main goals which unfortunately we didn't made. So if you can see till the end of this year, we can dump only 265,000 tons of bio-waste, and you saw in the previous slide that it was now dumped more than 600,000. So without building a composting plant, it would be impossible. So it was how it looks like 20 years ago, and now it's not exist anymore, but this recycling and separate collection was organized by the third parties on the landfills. And of course, it's very important sorting of waste, characters of household waste, which we made last 3 years in the different part of Croatia. It's made in Zagreb 4 times in 2 years ago, and now we finished this year to region, it's Slavonia and Middle Slavonia. So in this pie, you can see that more than 38% of complete mixed waste is bio-waste. Then you have approximately 17% of paper and cardboard and 70% of plastic. So in all, it's more than 70% that have to be separate collected, and it's possible. And if you look how big is the waste, so bigger than 10 centimeters is 27%, and a small part 0 to 20 is 10%. So the main part is 40 to 100 millimeters, it's 42%. So that's just to show you how we do it. So we find a lot of different things in waste: money, animals, dead animals, and it's important that we still have a lot of arms at home. So it's dangerous because we found bombs and such things. So in negotiation, I told you we have to build 11 waste management centers. So 2 are built, so 9 of them are still left. In waste management center would enter a complete communal waste, and here it would be treated. Still now we don't have none of waste to energy plant, unfortunately. But for you, it's also important that all these centers must be run by a local authority. So perhaps public-private partnership would be possible. So this is the center which work now 1 2 years, it's Castillon in Pola. For you, it's perhaps a strange technology. It's bio-drying. That means first we separate on the one part compost, that's hard part of the waste, and light part, which would be SRF or RDF, refused to energy. So 5 years ago, when European Union start action plan for circular economy, we have to implement it, but as everything in Croatia goes very slow, so this plan is still not implemented completely in our legislation. And this for Croatia is very important to remember. That means that in theory, when everything is known and nothing works, in Croatia, this second sentence is important. That means practice is when everything works and nobody knows here how and why. So we built more than 100 recycling yards where we collect different parts of waste. It's more than 30 parts of waste. We have one big recycling yard for construction waste. And this construction waste can be made by private investors also. So in Zagreb, you have the only one big composting plant. One is on Jakuševac side, that's the old landfill, and another is another part of Zagreb. So now we compost only 40,000 tons of bio-waste. All other is not collected. So it's very simple, and here investment is possible. That means in industrial zone it's possible to construct sorting plants and composting plants. And just for the end, to show you how it was earlier, especially on the coast, you have very steep part where you dump your waste and you burn it. And what didn't burn finished in the sea. Sorry. And they burned always the waste on the landfill. So this is just to show you how it looks like in 20 years ago, and now it's remediated and it looks like quite nice place. So just some photos before I give you possibility for the question. This is on the coast. They found a big and deep hole, and they just put the waste in and they burn it. And in the last 15 years, remediation is almost finished in complete Croatia, and we closed more than 200 wild landfills or open dumps. So just 2 photos to remember you how it was on the beginning of 21st century and how it looked like now. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you have questions, not too difficult.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I think we haven't more time. Okay, just okay. Thank you very much for your time, for being here. At the moment, I have no questions, but
If there is any questions, I'm here.
okay. We will send you all questions. I wish you all the best. I think we should.
Yeah.
Okay. Ja, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, wir sind nun am Ende unseres Marathons. durch die kroatische Infrastrukturlandschaft angelangt. Ich habe noch ein paar Informationen, bevor ich mich endgültig von euch verabschiede. Natürlich, das Jahr 2020 war nicht einfach, aber wir planen weiter. Wir schaffen das. 2021 soll wieder ein normales Jahr für uns sein. Daher gebe ich Ihnen kurz einen kurzen Überblick über die geplanten Veranstaltungen zum Thema Infrastruktur in Kroatien. Also bitte save the date, 13. April 2021, Wirtschaftsmission, EU-finanzierte Wasser- und Abwasserprojekte. Und im Juni, am 8. Juni, möchten wir gerne wieder eine Wirtschaftsmission zum Thema Eisenbahninfrastruktur in Kroatien organisieren. Wir freuen uns jetzt schon auf Ihre Teilnahme. Wir werden Sie rechtzeitig informieren und in der Zwischenzeit, es ist ein bisschen schwierig, heutzutage zu reisen, etwas zu planen, aber das wird sich hoffentlich bald ändern. In der Zwischenzeit steht Ihnen AC Zagreb gerne zur Verfügung. Das heißt, für alle Fragen, die Sie haben, sei es Fragen im Infrastrukturbereich oder Vertriebspartnersuche in Kroatien oder rechtliche Fragen, stehen wir Ihnen gerne zur Verfügung. Sie können uns immer per E-Mail erreichen, zagreb@wko.at. Und wir werden uns bemühen, Ihnen schnellstmöglich eine Antwort zu schicken. Auf unserer WKO-Webseite, Länderseite, finden Sie auch ausführliche Informationen zum Thema Einreisebeschränkungen Kroatien. Bitte verfolgen. Und wenn wir schon bei Thema Einreisebeschränkungen sind, es gibt noch etwas, was ich Ihnen gerne sagen möchte. Das ist Exportradar der Wirtschaftskammer Österreich. Auf dieser Webseite, also www.wko.at/exportradar, finden Sie auf einen Blick alle Informationen, wenn es um Covid-19-Situation geht, in allen Ländern. Ja. Einfach auf das Land anklicken und schauen, welche Regeln für dieses Land gelten. Ich hoffe, das ist nützlich für Sie. So, es bleibt nichts übrig. Ich hoffe, die Präsentationen waren interessant für Sie. Ich möchte mich jetzt verabschieden und wünsche Ihnen ein besinnliches Weihnachtsfest und einen guten Start in das Jahr 2021. Sretan Božić, Sretna Nova Godina i veliki pozdrav iz Zagreba. Wir sehen uns in Zagreb. Wiedersehen.